All right, welcome everybody. We have Romain Penet from Lyons Lifts Ltd. How are you doing today, Romain?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So why don't you start out today, Romain? What do you do?
So what do I do? I started Lion Lift just a little over a year ago. And what we do is that essentially we buy and sell heavy construction machinery. So what that means is that we help people source construction machinery. We help people sell their inventory. We basically connect the dots between people who are looking to buy machines and people who are looking to sell machines. We don't do just that. We also connect people together when somebody needs parts, somebody needs service. We don't necessarily need to make money by any means. We just try to, like say, hey, I know this guy. He can probably help you, and then we put them in touch, and then we just get the network growing. And it's a small world, so it's always good to have lots of friends everywhere.
For sure, man. And how long have you been doing this for and working in the field?
I've been working in the field. I was hired by a local company in Vancouver back in 2012 when I recently arrived in BC. Actually, I arrived in BC 2009. So I was here for a little bit. So it's been about 10 years. So I was employed by this company for quite a few years, and I started my own company pretty much right after that in 2021, May 2021.
Okay, for sure. Awesome. And who would you say is either your best customer, the best types of customers, the kind of clientele you deal with on the most frequent basis?
You know what, Jason? I got a lot of customers. Funny enough, I don't deal with anybody in Vancouver actually,
really?
because
Yeah.
most of my customer base are located on the East Coast. So companies in Montreal and Toronto. I mostly work with with East Coast time. I want to say that I have some very strong relationship with some rental companies. So what happens is that those guys, they need to have machines in their fleet to rent them out to their customers. So, they buy quite a bit of machines in a high volume. And so I'm their guy to help them source machines, especially now with COVID, that, it's tough to find brand new machinery. So everybody is looking to buy used, and I'm their main source of equipment. Or at least I try to be.
Gotcha. And kind of more of a niche question for yourself. We're kind of seeing right now the used automobile industry is trending really high with the price of units. Are you finding the same thing is translating over to your field as well, or is it the other way?
Yeah, it's the exact same.
Okay.
The lead time to buy machines, brand new machines, sometimes goes over a year, sometimes 2 years. It takes a very long time to receive a machine once you buy a brand new one. And, everything is fast paced. So sometimes you just can't afford to wait that long. So companies that used to buy brand new machines now are, like I said, buying used equipment. And so I've actually never sold any new machines, ever. So I'm more like a used equipment guy. So it's kind of playing out well for me, because I have lots of customers that I didn't used to work with before that are now contacting me because I can help them source this kind of equipment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, you kind of worked through 2021 and that time period. Were there any kind of business changes or considerations you had to make as you worked, your business, you work with clientele through COVID, or was business pretty much the same throughout?
No, it's tough. It's a really tough industry. COVID kind of changed the whole dynamic. Like I said, you got to think that, pretty much like a car, when you want to build a machine, the whole machine is not built in one factory, right? There's lots of different factories that are gravitating around. And back, during the COVID pandemic, when one person had COVID, the whole, factory, the little factory had to shut down, which was slowing down the whole process. So it was harder to source new machines. So everybody was buying used equipment, which drove the price up. If we compare to the market 2 or 3 years ago, some machines are maybe 30% more expensive than what they used to be. On top of that, selling the machine is not just that. When I sell the machine, it's like a hands-off service for the customer. I also deliver the machine. So I work with freight brokers. And I mean, just look around the corner, right? The gas prices, it's crazy. So that's really increasing, the cost for everybody as well. Um, Before, shipping a machine from like a standard machine from Vancouver to Montreal was, let's say, for example, 4,000. Now you're close to at least twice the price, sometimes 10 grand, just to do the exact same thing. So
Yeah.
it's a whole different ball game. It's a different market. It's a different strategy. But I guess, like, everybody has to go along with it. So you explain to the customer, and I mean, it is what it is.
Absolutely. And are you find a lot of the way that you guys had to adjust business during the pandemic has continued to now, like you said, it just kind of is a reality of where prices of gas and other things are at right
Yeah.
now. Is it just continuing the same, or were there other considerations that you're continuing to do now?
Yeah, it's kind of continuing the same. It just, like I said, you have to adjust. You have, like, unfortunately, you have to increase your prices because, like me, I buy machines for my own inventory, so I own some equipment, but I'm also a middleman. So if the machine that I want to buy is more expensive, I can't sell it at the same price. So you just adapt. And I mean, like, people are, I mean, like, just look around you. Everything's more expensive now, and unfortunately, that's one of the consequences of COVID. So, it's all about, at the end of the day, my industry, what I do, selling a machine when it's on my machine, selling somebody else's machine. Anybody can do what I do, right? Anybody can sell that other machine to that other person. So it's all about the service that you provide and who you are as a person, and that's how we make a difference. So we try to, like, give like a very, very good service to our customers, so at least they know that price is high. Okay, we get it, but at least we're here for you every step of the way.
Absolutely. That's even something we talk to a lot of our clients about. We call it, the delivery side of the business, making sure that your clients are always getting a consistent service from you, from your business, whether it's they're dealing with you, they're dealing with an employee, they're dealing with, the front desk person, whatever that case may be, they're always getting that continued consistent service. So they know what they can expect from you. So even if there is, say, a challenge that arises or a situation that was unknown that shows up, they have the confidence because they have so much consistency out of your business. They're like, hey, I know Romain is gonna take care of us. He's a good guy. We've worked with him for a long time. They're always on the ball with stuff, so I know they got it, which is
Yeah,
absolutely important.
absolutely. There's so many things that we do not control right now in the world. At least, like, let's try to at least, like,
Yeah.
have our hands on the little things, which is, like, just being a good guy and taking care of our customers.
Absolutely. And a big part of that too, I'm sure you guys do this as well, is just communicating
Yeah,
consistently with your clientele, right? Setting those expectations up front, talking about what the journey is going to be like from maybe when they get in touch with you first to when they, get that piece of machinery delivered,
absolutely.
and what all the pieces are along the way. So as long as you have that consistent open communication with them, you're managing, expectations and stuff like that. Like you
Yeah,
have a great client journey throughout the whole process. Absolutely.
100%.
Now, this is a little bit of a thinker maybe for you, Romain, but what would you say is one of the biggest learning lessons that you've had since being a business owner?
Sheesh. Lots of up and downs. I started my company, my baby was 2 months old. So, like, it was a learning curve on every single aspect of my personal life.
Yeah.
It's only been a year, but we are, like, we're 6 people working for the company now. So I was, like, able to grow pretty fast and build a team around me of people working full time with me at my office downtown. So, like, it's, I mean, so many things I've learned, but something that I always try to keep in mind in my personal life is that, like, through the up and downs of my life, is just that everything, like, nothing ever lasts. So, like, sometimes you feel like you're in, like, you have an issue with a machine or issue with a customer or something like that. Don't let your emotion take the best out of you, and always try to keep cool and think that this is only going to be temporary. And same thing with the good things, like, when you're in good success and when you're on a roll, always think that this is temporary as well, and always try to question yourself, to try to just be better the next day. And, like, that works for my personal life, that works for my business. Like, always try to keep my head cool and never try to get too emotional about the things that are good or bad.
Absolutely. Yeah. Having that consistent EQ, that emotional quotient, right? One of my old mentors used to say, right? You have to, what did he say? You have to ride the emotional roller coaster of being a business owner, is
Yeah,
what because it really is, right? There are those really high highs and sometimes there are those really low lows, right?
exactly.
But if you're consistent all the way through, you can celebrate your wins. Absolutely. When times are tough, you can sometimes feel a little bit down. That's just being human, right? But if you
Yeah,
stay even all the way through, you can kind of manage that storm really well.
Yeah, exactly. Because this is also contagious, right? Like,
100%.
like your employees are feeding this energy off of you. Your customers are feeding this energy off of you. When you come home, your wife, your child, like everybody is, like sort of like feeling this. And so, like, of course, like you said, like celebrating the wins is a big thing, but also not try to be greedy and always think that, like there's always going to be something behind the corner, good or bad.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something we talk to a lot of our business owners, our clients that have seasonal businesses, maybe where they're super busy during one portion of the year and then they slow right down. It's like, hey, those systems that you're building right now, we understand you're busy, but you're going to need to continually bring in business, as it sometimes slow down too, or prepare for that time. Even though things look great right now, people are calling, the phone's ringing great, but what happens when that phone stops? If you have that phenomenal lead generation strategies bringing in a ton of business, what happens if that shifts like 10 or 20% up or down, right? What does that look like? Great point. Absolutely. Romain, say somebody's looking in the market for some machinery. What's the best for them to get in touch with you in order to fulfill your service?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we do quite a bit of work. Actually, we have a great marketing manager who's like putting some ads on different websites, and like she's also doing a good job at referencing a website. So I want to say that like our website is a good way to get a hold of us. We also, we actually have some work to do. I'm not a huge social media person, so it's something that I need to work on to have more visibility. But we try to be all across the map on the different like listings for machinery. So essentially, if you're looking for a machine, you will most likely find us there because we advertise quite a bit there.
100%. Okay, great. Yeah, we'll include your contact info as well below the video so people can get in touch with you if they need. That. And the last question for you to Romain, what would you say is the most inspiring thing to you today?
Oh, the most inspiring, it's actually this is going to be a little personal, but my wife's dad, he kind of has like the same story as I had, even though it's completely different. He was born in Palestine. He was born in a refugee camp, and he left Canada when he was 19 years old. And like he came into this country, and like had to raise two beautiful daughters on his own, and he like had a few business, and now he's a successful restaurant owner in Chilliwack. And to me, that's something inspiring because when I came here, like I came here with basically nothing. I didn't speak English, and I'm like starting my family, starting my business, and it's always something that I try to take example from because like he's just he's a very good person and a good example for me. So I'm just thinking that if I can be a good individual, then I will be a good professional.
Awesome. I love that. That's an incredible, inspiring story. I love that. Thanks so much. Well, appreciate the time today, Romain. Like I said, we'll link all your information below if somebody wants to get in touch with you. And thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great talking to you. Thank you, Jason.